Welcome to the only Danish podcast about pro wrestling. This is a very special episode. I have one Norwegian legend and one of the rising stars on the Norwegian wrestling scene. And we're going to talk about probably the biggest show in Norwegian wrestling history. We're going to talk about Powerslam 21, or as I said when I wrote you or the manuscript, I will Powerslam 11. So I have to learn a little bit about Roman numbers. But let's get into it. Welcome, Erik Isaksen, and welcome, Junior. So
thank you.
Could you two just give the viewers and listeners a little bit of insight about yourself and as a wrestler and as a person as well? Erik, if you go first.
Yeah, I can start. I started my wrestling career in England in 1996. I moved to England in 1995, and then I started training over there. I made my debut the year after that. And when I moved back to Norway, I started to train Norwegian wrestlers. And I have wrestled all over Europe and also in Japan during my wrestling career so far. I'm not sure if you want any more details about my career and what I've been doing.
Just let's make it short, Erik, and we could just come back to it if you have something more, because the last part of the show is an open mic, so that's where you can maybe go into a little bit into depth about your career if that's what you want. But Junior, the rising star
Yes.
on the Norwegian wrestling scene.
Well, that's a really great introduction, Nikolai. Thank you for that. My name's Junior. I wrestle as the Asian Dragon Kim. Started my training actually back in 2011, around that time, and had an accident. Had to stop my training. And then I made my comeback to the federation around 2022, and start training from then. Had my debut in 2020. So yes, been wrestled for a year now, and been to working with Nordic Elite Wrestling in Denmark, and Freedom Pro Wrestling in Sweden, and wrestled one time in Hungary. So yeah, try to get out there as much as I can.
What we're going to talk about today is Powerslam 21, the most amazing show for a long time in Norwegian wrestling. And as you probably know, the wrestling scene in Scandinavia is buzzing. It's growing. There's a lot of buzz about it, a lot of focus also from countries around Denmark, Norway, Germany, and so on. So could you tell us a little bit about the wrestling scene in Norway today? Erik, if you go first.
Yeah, we started the Norwegian wrestling scene with the Norwegian Wrestling Federation in 2001. So we have been going for 23 years. There have been lots of ups and downs during those years. The first Powerslam was actually in 2003, and we didn't have Roman letters on the first one. It was just the number 2023. In 2003, I mean. And now we have finally had the Powerslam 21 in front of 650 people in Samfunnssalen, which is in central Oslo. And it's the result of a long-term promoting work to get a crowd like that in Oslo. I could mention that we one time ago in 2012 had only 50 people at Powerslam 10. So that shows a little bit about the ups and downs in Norwegian wrestling.
So, Erik, if you could tell us a little bit about why is it that wrestling is also growing in Norway? What's happening, and what is something special? Because if you can have 650 people at a show, you must do something amazing to get those in there.
I'm not in the NWF board, and I'm not in the promoting team, but I can make sure that everyone in NWF have done a very good job at promoting this event, and the result is amazing. We probably had around, I don't remember exactly how many people we had at the first Powerslam 21 years ago, but I would guess we had 300 or 400, at least over 300. So I didn't expect 650 people at Powerslam 21. So it's amazing to see the result of the long-term work that the NWF board and every member in the promotion has put into this show. And we started promoting it already, I would say, about 6 months ago. I'm not sure if you remember exactly when we announced the show, Junior.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I will say, yeah, as a board member and one of the promoting team. So yeah, we took a lot of, how can I say, we took a lot of risk for trying to go big this time, and we had a really great year since the start from the year that we did our first ever sold out show, and then the show after that has been sold out. We sold out not only just in Oslo, but in city like Bergen that we try to expand as well. So yeah, with the result of how we did at Powerslam 21 was amazing. And to go back to your question about what is happening with the growing process in wrestling scene in Norway, I would say does have a lot of that. We have a solid team, the core team right now. Like people, we got so many great people who could do promoting videos, who can do graphics and everything, so that we could step up our product a little bit more. So yeah, that's what I would say. This one of the biggest part that helped us along the way.
There was a big turnaround in 2002 when we got a new arena in Oslo, which is called ZamoraNøkkelen Festivitetshus, which is a place where we can sell alcohol, and it's also a fair price for rent, so it's possible to make a profit. Because most arenas in Oslo are expensive to rent, and if big venues have alcohol sales, they do it themselves and take most of the income, and it makes it difficult for a promotion to make a big profit from running a show. So, but at ZamoraNøkkelen Festivitetshus, we are able to attract the 18+ crowd and also get extra income, and it has been a very successful 2023 and 2024. So the last couple of years have been great.
It's amazing to hear that the wrestling scene is also growing, and there's a strong team behind the NWF, because that's very important if you want to expand or have more people watching the show. Could we talk a little bit about, I've already mentioned one of the great talents in Norwegian Wrestling Junior, but Erik, could you tell us some names that you also think has a bright future in front of them regarding?
Yeah, I would say that Rayo Flores, the tag team partner of Kim, is also very good. So he's a great talent. I have been wrestling him a lot of times over the years, and he's still a young guy. You have Espen Olsen, who has been established for quite a few years, wrestled a lot in Sweden, also in Denmark and other places in Europe. We have Adrian Storm and TJ, two of the veterans in NWF, who are still doing very well. They were in the tag team match with Inferno at Powerslam 21. We have a big guy like Bjørn Sem, who is standing almost 2 meters tall and is still moving well, even though we started wrestling over 20 years ago. And of course, we have Hannibal, big, strong guy. We have a lot of talents in Norway. It's not the biggest scene, but I think that the talent we have are doing very well.
Amazing, amazing. Now we talked a lot about the history behind the Powerslam, the Norwegian wrestling scene. I think we should dive into what this podcast episode is all about. It's about Powerslam 21. Erik and Junior, could you tell us a little bit about the ideas behind setting up this match card before we dive into each match?
Well, yeah, I can speak for that. We try. Our goal to set it when we booked the whole show, or as the board decided, was that we wanted to make everything to feel bigger. So the story has and planned and told throughout the year about who's going against who's we are going to build, who's going to be our next star, who's going to be our new champions. So, and also we have a lot of great relationship with other promotions such as Nordic Elite, like as mentioned earlier. So we could get guys like Carlos Zamora, who's, in my opinion, is one of the greatest star that Scandinavian had ever produced. And we also got the female talents that we clearly doesn't have here in Norway. So we got a really great relationship with Aliss Inc., who's the current Body Slam Women's Champion, and we also have good relationship with people from Finland, who's also Heidi Katrina, which we also could be able to book the match against each other. So for us, everything's all about making it bigger.
And it's also important to mention that you have to have a big card with a variety of matches. So we have something for everyone. That's what makes the show attractive for 650 people. So we have the tag team championship, we have the women's match, we have the heavyweight clashes, and we have a Cruiserweight European Championship match and everything. So I think this card provided something for all kinds of fans and something for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, but one thing that I noticed was, and which really warmed my heart, is that you have so many of your own talents on the card, that the signal that you're sending to the fans is we have trust, we put trust in our own talents, our own wrestlers, and put them on the card to elevate this to a whole new level with 650 people. I think that's a really great thing, because sometimes when you look at other match cards, they get some foreign talents in to be the star or something like that. But here, the stars are your own wrestlers.
Yeah, but the talent we brought in from other countries had their purpose on the card, like Carlos Zamora as a great challenger for Espen Olsen's UEWA European Cruiserweight Championship. And sadly, we don't have that many women wrestlers in Norway, so we had to bring some women over to Powerslam 21, and Aliss Inc. and Heidi Katrina are two good choices for that kind of match.
But I think that's the same problem in Denmark. There's not that many female wrestlers, maybe two in total. So hopefully we'll see more female wrestlers in the future in Norway and Denmark as well. So let's talk about the first match, the UEWA European Cruiserweight Championship, with the champion Espen Olsen against Carlos Zamora from Denmark. I would like to hear your opinion about this match, and then I'll finish with my opinion. So, Junior, if you go first.
Yeah, I will go start. For me, this is my personal dream match. Since been working with both Espen and Carlos personally, I will say that what has a lot of expectation with this match opening the show, and I would say that the match really delivered. Carlos bringing a lot of his fire energy, and Espen is also doing great work at the moment. And based on what I saw and what I heard from the feedback from people, they're like really loving it. They played such a good face and role that was clearly for the audience about what they could expect. And okay, this kind of set the tone, the whole. Okay, we can actually cheer, we can actually boo for the people who were there for the first time. So yeah, I really like the match, and really glad we made this happen as the opener for the show.
So Erik, let's hear your opinion about it.
Yeah, it's can sound strange to open a show with a European Cruiserweight Championship match.
Yep.
But I think it was a good opening match for this event, just to spread out the championship matches over the show. Espen Olsen is, of course, a great Norwegian talent. He is a great heel, as Junior mentions. And I think Carlos Zamora has become a very solid wrestler. He's very quick. He's a good technical wrestler and brings a lot of energy into his matches. I have watched the match, and I'm impressed by the high speed in the opening of the match, and it built into more impact moves later on. and I'm happy when I saw this match and what they brought to the table.
Well, I know Carlos very well. We also did an interview with Espen, but for me, this is how you should actually start a show, that you get the crowd up, you connect with the crowd, you get them to invest in the show and invest in the match. So I think it's very important that you have a match like this to open the card instead of starting out slow. You want to build up the audience, you want to get their reaction. But if you look at the match, I think Carlos's and Espen's way of working with the crowd, I could see Espen as a heel. It's interesting that if you give a little bit of critique to Espen, I would love him to be more interacting with the crowd, to reach out to the crowd, maybe go outside the ring, talk to the crowd, or do something like that. But I think that's one thing that I see on every wrestling show, also in Denmark as well. They should be better to go outside of the ring and get some reactions from the crowd. The match in itself, I don't have anything at all, anything bad to say about it. I think great tempo, great counter wrestling, a great finish as well. So all in all, for me, this is an amazing match, and it's good to see Carlos in another setting, because in Denmark he is the star. Also, he's the star here, but Espen Olsen is. I like the heat that he's getting. So what's the purpose for Espen if you look towards the future? What is the meaning for this match for Espen going forward?
Yeah, I can say something about it. Yeah, he's okay. Yes. Yeah, you can say start with the.
Yeah, it's a solid title challenger, and he defended the title against a worthy opponent. So I think for the UEWA European Cruiserweight Championship, it's a good idea to have this kind of match at the Powerslam 21 in front of 650 people. As for Espen Olsen, it's hard to say what this match itself means for him in the future. As for him not interacting that much with the crowd as a heel, I think he's great as a heel. Maybe didn't interact that much in this match compared to some of his other matches, but I felt I had a good pace in this match to get the crowd going for our opening match.
And the next match on the card, I was a little bit curious about it, because Nøkkelen til Suksess Battle Royal, 8-man Battle Royal. Could you, Junior, tell us a little about each wrestler in that match? Because I think it was quite strange, because normally I know it's about a suitcase or a contract or anything. The history behind this key to success, what is it?
Well, it's kind of speak for itself. Like, it's the key to success, right? It's the way to get yourself to the top, right? So the thing is the concept, like, we want to have a big chaotic multi-person match. So I need to look through all the wrestlers, so just so I don't forget any names here. So yeah, the story behind it is that whoever get the chance face the champion anytime, anywhere they like. So we had 8 of the superstars who are on the rising. First, we have Hjerte Prinsen and Chris Adonis. They're both actually a tag team under the name of Hjertebank, or the Heartbeat, as they say in English. Yeah, they both have a tiny conflict between themselves. As you can see that Adonis was kind of turning back on his partner right there during the match. And we also have a veteran team of Galskapensæter, Galskapensælen, and Eccles, who are both former tag team champions and want to make their way back to the top. Also have Pivo, who's a new guy from Poland, trying to make a name for himself. We have Marcus Lex, who started the match fiercely, just straight to the crossbody to kick off the match properly. We had Marco Garcia, a talent we had over from Australia and Philippines. He just came along to Norway, started working here and reaching out to us. So we said, yeah, let's go. Let's see what he can do. And he was amazing in the match. in the final, the winner itself, we had Mosse Kråka. I don't really know who that is, so it's kind of a mysterious guy, and he won the match as well. So we'll see where it goes with him. So yeah,
he has the key.
He has the key now, so nobody knows what's gonna happen.
So just to understand it right, this match is to elevate a new talent or this mysterious person going forward behind the mask.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call Garmstølen a rising star as he has been.
No.
The beginning of NWF in 2001, but and he also wrestled at Powerslam 21 years ago. So he's not a rising star, but it was his opportunity to win the key to success and
back to the top.
Grab a championship match.
So to look at this match to build up a eight-man battle royal, it's quite hard. And what was the key to success in this match? Erik, if you start.
I'm not sure what was the exact thing that led to the key to success. Win for Mosse Kråka. But it's a good concept where we have 8 people who get the chance to win the key. As I mentioned, Marco Garcia is a talent from Australia, also Philippines. And we have Marcus Lex, who did a comeback for NWF last year after several years out of the wrestling business. With a veteran like Garmstølen, you have a good mix of wrestlers, and everyone really got a chance to win the key and get the opportunity to get a future championship match. So it will be interesting to see what happens next with the key, how it is going to be used.
Yeah, because it gives a lot of opportunities to create some interesting storylines with this person lurking around. Just to understand right, could you use the key at any given time?
Any given time.
I haven't.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just say it there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the concept is that the key could be catching any time that the champion is around. So the champion always had to watch the back about whenever the key is around. That's never safe.
So to talk a little bit about the match, when I saw it, one thing that I noticed that you had a lot of quick eliminations, and then there was a lot of focus on the last 2 persons in the ring. What was the thoughts about that? Because I think sometimes when you watch these types of battle royals, you have maybe a slow start, then you get some eliminations, and then there's some 2 or 3 persons going forward fighting, and then at the end you just eliminate the person going over the top rope. But this here, you had to pin the last person.
Yeah, the last 2 had to wrestle a regular match. So the first 6 were eliminations, and then the 2 last men standing had to fight for the key to success in a regular singles match.
So that's why you gave them so much ring time at the end, because it's going to be a regular wrestling match.
Yeah, and Mosse Kråka was confused when only Marco Garcia was the last man left. So he believed he won by getting him over the top rope.
Yeah, he looked quite confused or something like that. But I thought when I saw the match, I was thinking a little bit about MJF's entrance as the devil. You have this strange person with a mask lurking around. Maybe does everyone know in Norway? Because that's maybe not my great knowledge of this. Does everyone in Norway knows who's behind the mask?
I think everybody have quite an idea who this is. It was I'll say the best theory so far has been mentioned by our MC Grizzly during the introduction. For the fans that have been followed, they might have an idea.
So okay. So this is the Joker.
That's correct. Yeah.
So how has the key been used in the past, Erik, to lock up a championship opportunity? Sorry.
Yeah, last year Espen Olsen cashed in by winning the Norwegian Championship from Rayo Flores. Mm-hmm. So it has been used and cashed in and for title wins before. It can happen at any time, so it will be interesting to see how it goes this time. I don't really believe in Mossekroka.
One could probably think that when he was so confused about how the match was going and how to end the match, maybe he'll be confused about how he should use the key as well. Time will tell. I will for sure be following when he's going to cash in or when he's going to reveal who is really behind the mask instead. So let's go on with the next match, Bodyslam Pro Wrestling Women's Championship, with the champion Aliss against Heidi Katrina. Erik, if you go first on this match.
Yeah, first of all, it's good to see that there is cooperation between NWF in Norway and Bodyslam Pro Wrestling in Denmark to allow us to have a championship match on Powerslam 21. As for the match, Heidi Katrina has been around for a long time, wrestled all over Europe and Japan and other places. And Aliss Inc. hasn't been wrestling that many years, but I'm really impressed by her high energy, her strikes and kicks and martial arts techniques. She is really impressive and has come a long way in the short few years that she has been wrestling. So I'm really impressed by her performance in this particular match.
Interesting. Junior, do you have anything to add to Erik's comments about the match?
Pretty much what Erik said. This was a great opportunity for us to work with Bodyslam, who has been a really great to us for allowing us to borrow the title. And also, I mean, both women are athletics as well. Someone who's like, there was a huge size difference in this match between the two women. One of my would say like, I wouldn't dare to mess with Aliss. She looked like someone who could really kick. That was great to hear. And they both are super athletic. And like I said, Aliss just won in one of the PWI lists as well. So that's pretty huge. Yeah, otherwise it was a great match, hard-hitting match, and great to show women wrestling in the Scandic scene.
Before I dive into it, if we're going to talk about any female Norwegian wrestlers, is there anything on the rise there?
There are not many during training at the moment. We have Vicky, who is the manager of Christian LaVey. And of course, at the Powerslam 21, Miss Mina was inducted into the Norwegian Wrestling Hall of Fame. She started wrestling in 2007. But she retired a few years ago, and it's good to induct Miss Mina into the NWF Hall of Fame at this Powerslam event. And then we had the women's match between Heidi Katrina and Aliss Inc. straight after the Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, we could also say we have one of the talent, Emma Jabtefrinsen. She's also the first transgender wrestler in Norway, female transgender. Yeah, that's a great way to showcase it as well. So yeah,
interesting. I've seen in the past. I've seen Aliss Inc. Work with a wrestler where there's a huge size difference, and it works quite well because I think her style of wrestling gives a lot of possibilities to this, and I thought there was some good bumps, and she uses a very unique style of wrestling quite well. It's compelling, it's interesting, and I just love her in the ring, and she's a huge name in Denmark, and I think we'll probably see her as one of our own, even though she's from Sweden. I watched some of her matches with Jessica Love in the past. They're great chemistry. And this one here, I think huge props to Heidi Katrina as well. Some good bumps. And I love the finish with this roundhouse kick. I think one thing that I really noticed is that Heidi Katrina is very good at selling every time Aliss Inc. did something, some of the martial arts styles and the kicks as well. So that's one thing that I really love when a wrestler is really selling the other one's moves as well. So.
Yeah, she got she got quite a few kicks and strikes against her in this match, but she was also able to do some power moves on her own. But in this match, it was Aliss Ing's night, to say it like it was.
Yeah, because even though one thing is with this match, not a lot of people were thinking about a title change here, but even though you might predict the result in advance, the most important here is to get people invested in the match as well, and I think they did a great job. So
yeah, but of course the 650 people in the arena didn't know what to expect beforehand, because for them, most of them, both Aliss Ing and also Heidi Katrina are people they haven't seen before in the wrestling ring. So I don't think, even though those following Scandinavian wrestling probably would believe beforehand that Aliss Ing would defend the title, I don't think the people in the crowd really knew that was going to happen.
Maybe. Yeah. So the next match, Junior, on the card was the NWF Tag Team Championship Freeway Tornado Tag Team match. And you were in it with your partner, Rayo Flores, as Inferno. So I'll give you the first few words, review and reaction about the match.
Well, the reaction in this, that for someone who watched it or watch it later when it posts out, I got a lot of ass kicking. I got my ass kicked, to say correctly. Yeah, for me it was really fun being among the crowd. I did. I don't really talk a lot about my own match. Just as I would prefer, like, listen to feedback from some other veterans, such as Erik or you, Nikolai. I could tell from my part how it was to be part of it. It was really, really fun to feel the energy of the crowd. That stuff is one of my first time ever to get to feel that, and it was really emotional to win the title as well. To me, this feels that really grateful that the company really have in me and Rayo to represent the tag team division moving forward. So yeah, that's for my part to say. Otherwise, I got my ass. I give them ass kicking back. It was fun.
Maybe we should have a cross Danish Norwegian match about.
I'll be ready.
About the Nordic crown. I have my giant, so.
I have my luchador.
Yes, you do. But Erik, did you watch the match as it went on, or did you just watch it afterwards?
I was wrestling in the main event, so I didn't watch much of the show live. But I have had a look at the match before this podcast, and I knew that it was going to be a great match before I saw it. It was fun to have a triple threat tornado tag team match, because there was a lot of chaos, a lot of action and everything. You had great dives of TJ's moonsault from the corner post, and you also had the Rayo Flores cool dive to the outside. I would say that the main thing about the match and the highlight for me was actually Kim's great comeback when he exploded on his opponents and beat them all. And it was a fun back and forth action-filled match, a proper tornado triple threat tag team match. So this gave the crowd a lot to enjoy. It seemed like a fun match, even though I didn't see it live.
Well, then I'll give my perspective on it. I've watched you, Junior, and Rayo in Denmark as well, and the crowd really loved you. And one thing that I think is amazing when you have a tag team, you're really good at interacting with the crowd. That's one thing, Erik, probably you know by now. One thing that I look for in every wrestler, tag team or anything, interacting with the crowd, I think it's quite important. The story behind it, I love the way that the two of the teams were actually working against Inferno, and you have this two teams that's working together, and looks like they're going to divide who will win in the end. But then you have this amazing comeback, build up towards a comeback, as you did, and also you had this cracks in their work coexisting, working together in the end. So I think I love the match. It was a good match. And if you ask me, the right winners, of course. And I'm looking forward to see how you can carry on the tag team division in Norway going forward. One thing that I was quite amazed about is that you have some very good tag teams, a lot of tag teams compared to Denmark, for example. We don't have that many tag teams, actually. So is there any kind of story behind that Norway is good at creating tag teams, Erik?
I would like to ask for a tag team division in Norway. We had the first Norwegian Tag Team Championship tournament back in 2006. And so we had a tradition for an annual big tag team event every year since then. Actually, at the 2009 Norwegian Tag Team Tournament, we had 8 teams in the tournament. So we have a long tradition for tag team wrestling in Norway, and some tag team specialists. I think Kim is going to be described as a tag team specialist going forward, even if it's with Raya Flores or with another partner in the future. He's great as a tag team wrestler. And also you have the veterans like Adrian Storm and TJ, who are teaming together and doing very well. They work very well together. I have been tag team champion with Adrian Storm before, so I know that he's a great tag team wrestler. And the same with Daniel Sebastian, who I was tag team champion with quite a few years ago. So there is a lot of traditional tag team wrestling in Norway. And it's good to have some established tag teams and tag teams that people get to know and understand are great teams.
Interesting. Maybe we should use that in Denmark as well to get more tag teams, because we could really use some. We have a few. We have Bloodbound. We have this cross-Danish, Swedish tag team called POP. So we have some. And then, of course, we have myself. But probably I'm more of a comic wrestler than anything else. But now we're going to talk about the next match, Tyr and Bjørn Sem. I know a little bit about Bjørn Sem because we have had this battle of the podcast with Anders and Bjørn. But they probably, after Kim and I were winning the first 3 rounds, I think they gave up or something like that. So what is this with Tyr and Bjørn Sem? Is there a story behind this match? Because I've heard Bjørn in the past talk about Tyr and wanted to do this. So Erik, what is the story behind this match?
Where should I start? It's if I begin with Tyr, he's a big wrestler, so almost the same size as Bjørn. And he has been with his manager, Gustav Guldknoke from Sweden, who's working as his heel manager. And he has been picking up win after win. And who else is better to step up and meet up against Tyr at the Powerslam 21 than Bjørn Sem, who is a big man himself.
So this, as you probably use in wrestling language, it's meat slapping time in this match.
Definitely.
It was Titan against Titan as the match was announced in Norway.
So Junior, your perspective on this match, watching it afterwards?
Well, I would say it was a big match, like literally with the size of wrestling. It's a lot of meat in that ring, that's for sure. But I would say that Tyr had a great showcase in this match. The way he's been built through the years, ran on a huge streak he's on right now. Bjørn also just recently had a comeback since the last time he lost in a match, and he took a hibernation for almost a year. So maybe it could be the ring rust that came into play here, but Tyr looks pretty good in the match, and I would say that they're gonna have a moment along the way is coming up. and we're gonna have a lot of great big man match coming forward in 2025.
We should mention that Bjørn Sem did a great splash from the top rope in this match,
definitely.
but tagTyr got out of the way, so that was the beginning of the end for Bjørn Sem in this match.
Yeah.
So did you enhance the ring so it could so it should not break because of that splash, because it really demands a lot from the ring and reinforcing it?
Yeah, it's not the first. Bjørn Sem has destroyed the wrestling rings before. With actually, when he was, we were at a wrestling show in Spain many years ago, and Bjørn Sem was wrestling against Grizzly, and that big man match was put on at the end just to make sure that the ring was ready for all the other wrestlers. So they saved the big man for the end. So, but I'm not sure if the ring was damaged in this match. Junior has probably some insight about that, but I think the ring survived.
Luckily, but I saw the plank bent, so well, it still hold up to the main event, but I could see that it could have a lot of damage had he landed that frog slide. So yeah,
I think that the match was it was a good match, and it was nice to see Bjørn in the ring with an up to date. And I love these Titan battles where you have it slow paced and making every move count when they're doing it, like an elbow drop, big splash, or anything, a simple power slam. It has much more effect when you do it like as a big meat slapping meat kind of match. So was this putting this match here after the tag team tornado match? Was there any thoughts about that you have a little bit more slow-paced match before building up towards the main event, Junior? Or?
I'll say we need some the variety of the match as well. After you had a lot of fast-paced match with multiple person in a three-way tornado, you would love to have some huge, not slow but big moves in the match, like the frog splash that Erik mentioned, and also the huge choke slam that tagTyr gave Bjørn to end the match. So yeah, that's I would say it's like not purposely put on to slow down the pace, but I would say it's just to give everything give every taste to everyone, you know.
I think that's the main thing as well, that you provide something different when you have had a tornado tag team match, and then you have the big man match. It's so different, and during a show, people in the crowd should get the emotions and the speed going up and down, and not have the same pace throughout the show. So I think after the tornado tag team match, they really needed a different kind of match, and Bjørn Sem against tagTyr was the perfect match to go after the tag team championship match.
It's nice to hear about the consideration behind the match order, because I think as well it's important that you don't have the same type of matches following each other, because then people, if you have a great match like that and you have something similar going afterwards. So interesting, and thank you for giving a little bit of insight to the match order as well. So let's go on to the next match, Christian LaVey against Professor Aliss. Junior, the story behind these two matches and Christian LaVey's manager, Vicky, Nocton. Is that right, or is it just Vicky?
Yes, exactly. She's the dark priest, as I say. Yeah. Well, they both had a rough year, both of them, so they look forward to make a statement on this show. It's a contrast of character as well. Like Professor Aliss, you have this high horse, intellectual, academic person who thinks he's smarter than everybody and just want to talk till the cows bleed from the ears. Luckily, it was interrupted by Christian and his manager. So Christian, he's the Antichrist kid, doesn't a hoot about anyone thinking of him, and just want to bring some pain. I would say this is probably the best I've seen of Christian LaVey. He looked really, really great in this match and carried himself really, really well. Like I said, I think Aliss was perfect opponent for him to test his how he works during a new crowd with new people and this amount of a crowd as well. So yeah.
Interesting. Erik, do you have anything you want to add to Junior's thoughts about the match?
Yeah, if I start with Christian LaVey, he's a brutal wrestler. He has a lot of good power moves. He has high impact on his moves, and he uses his power against intellectual wrestler Professor Ares, who actually wrestles as he is a veteran, even though he had made his debut this year. So Professor Ares is a good newcomer in NWF, making a good impression. So it will be interesting to see how he does in the future as well.
What was the thoughts about putting those two together, to putting a veteran like Christian LaVey against Professor Ares, Erik?
Maybe Junior have more insight about why this match was put together.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Like I said, it's the clash of the characters as well. You have this one guy who's like by book smart, as what some would say, and the other who's like just this strong, brutal wrestler who just want to inflict pain. How would they coexist in a match in the wrestling ring? How would they solve itself? And Ares has some great offense, and Christian had even nastier offense right back. So who would win, intellectual or strength? So pretty much the story behind it as well. So I think it was a great match to set up before to get the crowd ready for the main event as well.
Oh yes, I think also it was a good match. And again, one thing that I think is interesting and good, there was another manager. You have a lot of managers in this card as well. I think it's good because it gives some other possibilities. That you have this manager and a female manager as well is amazing. I think so. And I love the little bit of thing when she got a hold of the book, Vicky, and threw it away. That was a good thing. And one thing that sometimes when I look at wrestlers, they have the same gear. She had the same mark on the back as Christian LaVey. So I think those small details about when wrestlers coexist and working together, that was good. Manager manager and wrestler. So who was Junior? Was Ares the heel in this match, or was it Christian? Or was it a little bit of anti-hero thing going on?
Yeah, I would say, as you could hear during his promo, Ares was boo out the building, so he's clearly the heel. I would say Christian, he's some nice dude, but he somehow get the crowd behind him as well, just because they hated Ares so much. So I would say he's some would say as a tweener, but for me, he's just a guy who doesn't care about anyone thinking of him.
So,
but I would like to add that as you mentioned that Vicky and Christian LaVey are good as a wrestler manager team, so working well together. So it's a good thing. It will be interesting to follow Christian LaVey in the future, as he shows a lot of promise in this match and has also done so over the last year.
Interesting. So maybe that's one to watch for the future, Christian LaVey.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. So now we have the main event, the NWF Championship match with you, Erik, against Hannibal. Now you have the possibility to give a lot of insight into this match.
Yeah, I can.
Take it away.
Let's say we got a crowd warm earlier in the show, as we had a promo segment after match one. I think the crowd was really looking forward to this match when they knew what to expect after the promo segment earlier in the show itself. As for insight, I was actually injured when I went out for this match, but I did everything I could to make it through this match.
Interesting.
Wow. I didn't even know that. It's like being state. I just heard it now that you're actually injured. So if I could follow up with my thought on the match, I think it was a great main event as well. Like both in ring and history behind it. Like as we said, that Erik is the one who started the whole thing with the Norwegian wrestling scene, and having him in the main is the only right thing with such a special show like this. And as I saw the match, I didn't even miss where you were injured beforehand. Wow, that's a that's a huge prop. Kind of took me by surprise as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a knee injury that was didn't get any better during the day of Powerslam, so I didn't know what to do when I was entering the stage for this match, as I was in a lot of pain. But I went into the ring. I didn't know how long I would last, but I did my best, and I didn't win the match. But I'm the only 4-time Norwegian champion, so I should be proud of that. I was the Norwegian champion at Powerslam 21 years ago, and I was the champion at Powerslam 21 this time. So it's a lot of years going into this Powerslam.
So Erik, pardon me for asking, was this some kind of passing the torch to Hannibal, carrying on from now on, or
who knows? No, I would say that I'm the history of Norwegian wrestling. I'm the present of Norwegian wrestling, and I'm the future for sure. So you never know what happens in the future.
No, and we never know who's behind that mask as well. Yeah, you never know.
Lot of questions.
Yes, and no answers at the moment, but maybe in the future. So this match, Erik, setting it up and knowing that you were injured, how did you communicate with Hannibal during the match, telling him if he knew that you couldn't carry on, or did he knew that you were injured?
He probably knew. So, but you never know. It's wrestling is live entertainment, so you never know what can happen. But of course, I went into the match and I wanted to do my best showcase, and I believe that we did everything we could to make this a great match for the crowd. It's actually the first time that Hannibal and me meet one against one in an NWF ring, so it should be interesting for those who have followed NWF for a long time. And also he came into the Powerslam event as the winner of the King of the Ring event that we had in October. So he was the clear challenger for this match after defeating, was it 21 or 22 other wrestlers at the Kongen på Haugen match in October. So I knew that it would be a great challenger for this match, and Hannibal has a lot of momentum at the moment. So this time it was his time.
And I saw that Hannibal was talking about a new era for NWF. So Erik, can Hannibal carry this new era on his back, or is it just empty words from him?
I will not talk about that right now. We'll wait and see what the future brings. I will let Junior take part of the new era, and as he was the one clearly supporting Hannibal as he went into the ring with all the other NWF wrestlers after the match.
Oh, well, okay. As you see in the main that the guy who followed Erik to the ring, the NWF president Hans-Christian Håndlykken, he's been holding us down for a while now with Hannibal, me and Ryo, and other nice wrestlers. So now is our time. Now is our time to step up and show what we could, and it's time to fight back. So now it's more about skills over money. It's time for an uproar, if I could say.
Good luck.
So, Junior and Erik, some takeaways from the show, because how did you feel, both of you, just after the last match and seeing the crowd's reaction towards the whole show and everything, that it was such a huge success? Erik, if you go first, how did you feel just after losing to Hannibal, or just to see all the crowds, the reaction and everything going on?
If I talk about the reaction of the event itself, it was an amazing crowd throughout the show. They enjoyed themselves. They had the best time of their lives at the pro wrestling event in Oslo, and it's so amazing to see that 650 people are so into a wrestling show in Norway. We usually have great crowds that are interactive and making a lot of noise, and now finally to have 650 people at this venue in Oslo is just fantastic for NWF.
So, Junior, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, like with working behind the scene to help promoting this show and help organize the show. It was clearly a stressful day. It was a huge day for us at all, and you could feel the energy in the air, like since we stepped into the venue. But at the end, I would say it was a huge success. No matter what, this is like we with so many people who along the path to bring Norwegian wrestling to this day. It was definitely a huge success, and it was a huge day to remember in Norwegian wrestling history. So yeah, I couldn't be happier about it. Still think about it. Still think about the feeling of be able to see that huge amount of people in our crowd.
I can understand that, and again, huge congratulations to the both of you. It's really amazing to see that. So I want to know, what can we expect from NWF in the future? Will you do a Powerslam next year with 650 people, or will you even try to go even bigger, Junior?
Well, since I won the board member, there's a lot of exciting stuff that's coming up. Yeah, for all the listeners out there, yeah, just need to pay attention. So what we're gonna announce. So yeah, big things are coming. Yeah.
Okay. And Erik, do you have anything you want to add to Junior's very, very foggy speech about the future?
It's when we for the outcome of a Powerslam, it's everyone sees that it's possible to bring Norwegian wrestling to a higher level. With 650 people here, it should of course be the goal of next year's Powerslam should be to have at least 650 people. So this is not the end result, but just the beginning of the continuation of Norwegian wrestling.
Yeah, and I hope you will do the same. I was actually going to watch the show, but I was prevented because I had a match myself. I got my ass kicked in a very bad way. But hopefully next year I have the possibility to come up and watch it. So
you're welcome.
You have to do a show then. And for me, I think it's very good to hear that you're not finished at all. You're trying to, develop, making Norwegian wrestling more known in not just in Scandinavia, but outside in Europe, maybe in the world as well. So hopefully you will not stop, but hopefully you will do something bigger, better next year. And so Erik, now I have this, before we're finished, we have this open mic thing where you can say whatever you like.
Whatever I like.
Yes.
Yeah, we can continue to speak about Scandinavian wrestling. It's just amazing to see how well the Scandinavian scene is doing now with the wrestling events in Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. We have Bergen Pro Wrestling starting more events in the western side of Norway. You have NWF doing big events. I run my own Norsk Elite Wrestling, Norwegian Elite Wrestling, who run additional events in Norway in different places. So you have a lot of momentum going on the wrestling scene in Scandinavia, with not only in Norway but but the whole of Scandinavia, which is amazing to see. And there are so many great talents coming up in on the Nordic wrestling scene with the wrestlers we have in Norway, the experienced wrestlers, the up and rising stars like Kim, Rayo Flores, and Suchan, and with Carlos Zamora and Aliss Inc. that we could see on this show. It's so much talent around in Scandinavian countries. So as for myself, there are a lot of people that I would want to face in the ring on the Scandinavian scene, like Carlos Zamora or whoever is ready to step up in the ring against me.
Then I have to ask you, now you mentioned Carlos Zamora, if you have to mention 2 other Scandinavian wrestlers that you want to face in the future, who should that be?
If I go consider also Finnish talent, I would like to face Arthur Arder from Estonia, who is wrestling for Slam Wrestling in Finland. He's a great talent. Carlos Zamora is of course mentioned, and you have veterans on the Scandinavian scene. I would like to face Valentine again. He's a great talent. But there are more talents on the Scandinavian scene that I've just seen a little bit of, but I've noticed that there are good talents.
Thank you, Erik, for giving us a little bit of insight what the future might bring for Erik Isaksen. So, Junior, now is the mic open to you.
Well, I'll say, support your local wrestling, support Scandinavian wrestling, support Norwegian wrestling. A lot of things going on right now in wrestling world. WWE is coming to Netflix. I don't know how many eyes they're gonna bring to that as well, and how many people are gonna check the local wrestling in the future. So yeah, and I just want to put in the show. Our next show is in January 11th, called New Year's Uproar or Nyttår Opprøret, we would say in Norwegian. So a lot of great match on that card, as I hoped it would be. So if you have time, travel down here, check it out. 11th of January at ZamoraNøkkelen.
So Junior, if someone would like to read more about NWF in the future and Norwegian wrestling as well, where can they find you guys on Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, we have our Facebook page, Norges Wrestling Forbund, and also Instagram, the same name, Norges Wrestling Forbund. And you can check out our website at wrestling.no.
Okay,
so yeah,
perfect. So
we're also on TikTok now as well.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, you have to send me the link, then I'll drop them in the show notes afterwards.
Will do.
Erik Isaksen and Junior, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Danish podcast to talk about Norwegian wrestling. It's been an absolute joy to hear about the show, and I wish you so much success in the future. And I just have one thing to say to finish off the show. Everyone out there, remember, you have to watch wrestling live.